Yeah, I mean, we wish, he was here and things like that. But, I mean, whatever the situation was, that's just what happened. And, we're not in control of that. We're just in control of what people we personally have to do. And, whatever happened, that's between Coach Tom and Mendy.
Oh, Tony's man. I think he's a great player. I think he gets a lot of flack he doesn't deserve a lot of times in Dallas. And when Tony's playing well, he's a top tier quarterback. And I know sometimes we judge that by Super Bowls, but Super Bowls are a team thing. I don't remember one quarterback that won one alone. Tony's a really good guy at extending the play and giving his receivers and tight ends opportunities to make plays down the field.
Well, I think that's a good way to put it. Turn the car on two wheels, but I think the turn is over. So I think we're going to settle back on four and hopefully kick it into four-wheel drive and get going.
What makes you think that it's over?
Just a feel. Like I said, it's that time of year that you're going to start seeing. I think, I know from me in particular, and some guys have been around here, you're going to start seeing a different mindset, mentality that it's that time of year. I mean, in years past, it just is a natural thing. No one's ever had to say it because we've had so many guys that have done it before for such a long time that this time of year it's just a natural thing that it's time to pick it up and go. And we're gonna have some veteran guys I think starting to do that. And like I said, we've got to get the young guys to do the same.
So Ben Roethlisberger says it's just that time of year. It's not Christmas. It's that time of year for the Steelers to win and get themselves into the playoffs. I'm Justin LeBar alongside Pittsburgh Tribune Review Steeler writers Alan Robinson and Mark Caboli. A whole lot to talk about, guys. Dallas this week for the Steelers. Every situation pretty much a must-win. Rashard Mendenhall, he's suspended, and a lot of questions about his future. Alan, talk to me about this upcoming schedule here. A couple games left, all of them very critical.
What I found interesting today was a lot of people were asking questions about, this Dallas game isn't that really important to you guys. It's the Cincinnati game you need to win next week. That's not really true. They have more paths to the playoffs other than beating Cincinnati and Cleveland in their last two games. I did a lot of the calculations this week. In fact, if they beat Dallas and they beat Cleveland in their last two, in their last three games, the Cincinnati game isn't necessarily a must-win game as long as Cincinnati loses another game along the way.
And Mark Caboli, they're going to have to do it without Rashard Mendenhall. They're going to have to do it without Ike Taylor. Troy Polamalu still not healthy, but he is playing. It's quite a situation for the Steelers.
Yeah, Willie Colon as well. They've just been banged up all across the offensive line, defensive line. But the biggest concern is going to will be a cornerback. I mean, right now, the first day of practice for this week, and we're having guys like DeMarcus Van Dyke, Josh Victorian, guys like that as your starters. I know that might play out itself during the rest of the week and have Keenan Lewis in there. But regardless, you're going to have Ike out. You're probably going to have Cortez Allen out. So there's going to be a big hole in the secondary with the Steelers. And you have Tony Romo, who doesn't hesitate to sling that ball around. He'll throw the ball 50 times. And Dez Bryant, and he'll be playing Miles Austin. So that's going to be the biggest concern this week. And it's how the Steelers approach that secondary, because you're down to 3, 4, 5 deep in that secondary right now.
Justin, I was going to say, too, Mel Blount was in the building today. We saw him. He might have been the best healthy quarterback in the building today, and he hasn't played in 30 years.
Stellar analysis from Alan Robinson. Okay, 2 questions left for you guys, one of which we'll get to in a minute. That's predictions. But first, I want to ask each of you, have we seen the last time Rashard Mendenhall is going to put on a Steeler uniform and play it down?
I don't know if he'll put on a uniform again this year. I suspect he might, because the way the injuries are, they're bound to get somebody else hurt this year. They've gotten people hurt at every position. But I don't think you'll see him carry on a meaningful down unless Jonathan Dwyer and Isaac Redmond just completely flop. They almost did that last Sunday. They only had 32 yards rushing. But clearly Mike Tomlin's mindset is made up. He gave up on the guy a couple of weeks ago when he fumbled twice in 4 carries against Cleveland. And then him not showing up for the game, that just completely exacerbated the situation. I just can't believe that they're going to turn to him and give him the ball in a situation, in a meaningful game, not knowing what his mindset is. And it's pretty clear what Mike Tomlin's mindset is. I think he's ready to move on.
Mark Caboli, do you agree?
Yeah, he's done. He's not even going to get a helmet, so to speak, the rest of the year. They're not going to release him or anything like that, because they could still get a good compensatory pick because he's an unrestricted free agent after the year. But he's not putting another helmet on. Even if Jonathan Dwyer, Isaac Redmond are lost, I think Baron Batch is going to be a better option than Rashard Mendenhall. So whatever you're reading out there now saying that it's all patched up, made up, don't believe it. He's never going to play another down for the Steelers.
Real quick, in Dallas this week, Steelers, what do you got?
Steelers going to lose. I just can't see how you can see how this team's playing like this and think they're going to win. I think they're another close game, 27-21. They're just going to pass all over them.
I'm thinking, too, Tony Romo is an underrated quarterback in that his statistics are much better than you think. You think of him as being a almost like a who do I want to say? You know, a guy that just a classic underachiever. But his statistics for his career,
Carson Palmer.
yes, match up pretty comparably. It's funny, his statistics. Yeah, sure, absolutely. His statistics match up comparably to Ben Roethlisberger in his career. I just don't see how they're going to be able to stop the guy. I've got Dallas 30, Steelers 24. I do think Ben Roethlisberger in the offense will play much better. I think they'll hit a couple downfield throws. But, you know, Dallas has won 4 of their last 5 games. They need to win as much as the Steelers do, and they're playing at home in that big spaceship of a building.
Sure. And I should clarify. I mean Carson Palmer when he was at Cincinnati, the guy that never really won that big game.
You know what, Justin, saying that, Steelers are probably going to win now because we picked against them. That's probably what's going to happen. It wouldn't be unexpected. Not unexpected.
You can always torture these guys with your thoughts and your predictions on Twitter. You can follow them both, Alan Robinson and Mark Napoli. Of course, you can listen to them on occasion on Trib Live Radio. And, of course, read them in your Pittsburgh Tribune Review, available on newsstands everywhere. For Alan, from Mark, I'm Justin. It's getting close to playoffs.